Take 8. Action. Hi, my name is Sarah Heany, and I wanted to follow up with you all. I shared in my last Facebook post that I would be teaching you a process called bilateral stimulation, which I learned from Melissa Tiers. And for those of you who didn't read that post, just for context, I had gone to bed. I get home from work around 12:30 and it's late at night, and I oftentimes need a minute to wind down, and then I go to bed. And in this particular situation, I was really tired. I went to bed, and as soon as I got there, my brain just started popcorning all kinds of thoughts. Random, just fucking popcorn. And after about an hour of this, I'm like, I can't even think hypnosis long enough. Usually when I have a difficult time falling asleep, I know a hypnosis method that works like that. But in this case, I couldn't even keep my thoughts still long enough to focus on this hypnotic technique that I use. So I'm like, do I just have to ride this out? I don't know. But one of my thoughts landed on something that made my heart just spike. And the rest of my thoughts stopped popcorning. They became very specific, and they started spiraling and going really fast. And I immediately knew, if I don't take care of this right now, this is going to keep me awake all night. I have 4 children that don't sleep in the morning, and I have a job also that I have to go to and stay up late again tomorrow. I need to be able to sleep, and also these feelings suck ass. I don't like it. Anxiety, it's a new thing to me over the last year, and I am learning so much about it, and transforming it is actually exciting. I'm learning a lot from the anxiety itself, where my thoughts and my patterns of thinking are. I segue, which I tend to do. Anyway, so my anxiety was up here, my heart rate was really fast, and I was hot, and so I was like, okay, I gotta take care of this. I get out of bed, and I do what I know works, which I learned from Melissa Tiers, and it is bilateral stimulation. And before I show you, I will explain a little bit about that. The brain, being efficient as it is, when it notices a pattern that you have repeated a few times, it says, okay, this we do to get to this outcome. So let's put that on autopilot, and that way we conserve energy. We don't have to think about it. We conserve energy so that we can use it for something else, whatever our energy may be needed for. And that can be a really great thing when you're establishing good, healthy habits. However, if it's a bad habit, if it is detrimental to you and it's something you want to change, you can change it. And it doesn't have to be as difficult as willpower. Because when you're feeling, in my situation, these high anxiety thoughts, it's very challenging to think yourself calm. I don't know if any of you have experienced high levels of stress or anxiety and a lot of pressure, and trying to willpower and think yourself like it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. That's more like suppression, and suppression builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up until we burst in some kind of way, and that's not so bueno. So with this bilateral stimulation, what happens is you have this pattern that you've taken, you've done, and your neural network goes this way, and it has created a path. It's treaded it so deeply into your brain that you need some way to interrupt it, because the brain is fast, the brain is efficient, and it does its job really exceptionally well. And the bilateral stimulation acts as a roadblock. So your neural network, it can't continue going down that way, because you are activating different parts of your brain. And so when you stop this pattern repeatedly over and over, then what happens is even just that first time, stop. Now you have to choose something else. You accessing way more resources to choose a different path because you're no longer able to go this way. And so when you stop going this way so often, that neural network, that pathway that has been trodden so many times, it becomes overgrown and no longer an option at all. And now you have all of these other available resources or new habits that you have established in its place. So bilateral stimulation is that roadblock. And whether your habit is reaching for something sweet late at night, or going for a cigarette, for whatever triggers you for a cigarette, or whether it is feeling strong feelings right before giving some kind of presentation. There's all kinds of habits and patterns that we create that don't help us, but that hinder us. And so when you stop it, you're just giving yourself more power, more tools, more resources to choose something better. And so bilateral stimulation is very simple. You pick some object up. It could be small, like a pen, or a set of keys, or a hair tie, or you could take off a ring and use a ring. It doesn't really matter what it is. You just pick something small, put it in one hand, bring it to the center of your body, switch hands, bring it out. And you do this for 90 seconds. Because the brain gets bored with the same thing. So it can only hold that thought pattern or that behavior pattern for about 90 seconds before it's done and it's ready to move on. So whether that's a craving of some kind, or whether that is a feeling of some kind, or a thought habit of some kind, you can just do this 90 seconds. And then at the end of that 90 seconds, now you will notice, if you do this for 90 seconds, there's a natural pause. There's like a little bit of a silence, if you will, where you have options. It's like being uncuffed, and now you're free, and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? So bilateral stimulation, and in my case, bilateral stimulation was just the first step, because when my level of anxiety was that high, this isn't going to bring it down to a 0. What it's going to do is stop that pattern of me going down that path. It's going to slow my heart rate just a little bit. It's going to slow these thoughts, and it's going to give me the choice. So now I can identify the thoughts because they've slowed down enough. I can identify the feelings that are coming up. And I moved on to EFT in that case, and I just started naming all of the bullshit, all of the stress, all of the anxiety, all of the everything, and the thoughts associated with them. And let them go. And it took me some time, several rounds of that EFT, but I was able to bring that anxiety from, it was a 9, down to a 0 in about 20 to 30 minutes. That's how long it took, which was a long time for me. But I needed it. And I was able to go to bed and fall asleep very quickly. And whether your habit or your pattern that you're trying to interrupt is something really complex or something really simple, it doesn't matter. If you want to create something new, you have to stop doing the old thing. This will help you. And I hope that you use it. If you try it on all kinds of things, whether it's a negative feeling at work, or maybe you're, I don't know, you come up with something. Find some reason to interrupt your pattern. Write about it in the comments. Tell me how your experience was. And you can imagine, I'm sure, that working one-on-one with somebody to help you through the next part of the process, if you want to make some big changes, we can do that. And I can support that through a whole variety of techniques and methods, a one-on-one session, in hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming. It's a very integrative approach. It's fun, it's weird, and it somehow works. And when I say somehow, I mean there is actually a lot of science behind it, and some of it is a little bit magic. So share your experiences, try it out, let me know, and I look forward to hearing from you and sharing more videos with you. Have a beautiful day. or night.